Alright, guys, we have reached the quarterfinals of the BNP Paribas Open, which is an actual big tournament, unlike the likes of Dubai and Acapulco, as some have been suggesting. Speaking of Acapulco, Thomas Mahach won that title, defeating Davidovich Fokina in the final in straight sets. And in Santiago, Laszlo Djere defeated Sebastian Baez in the final in 3 sets. So this is the first time where I have predicted all 3 winners of the tournaments that have gone on in the same week incorrectly. First, I said that Auger-Aliassime would win Dubai in 3 sets against Tsitsipas, but Tsitsipas won in straight sets. Then I said that Davidovich Fokina would defeat Mahach in 3 sets in the Acapulco final. Mahach won in straight sets. And then I said that Djere would defeat Baez in 3 sets in the Santiago final. Oh no, I said Baez would defeat Djere in 3 sets in the Santiago final, but it was Djere who won in 3 sets. So I've gotten all 3 of these final predictions wrong in that last week and a half ago it was, or something like that. Am I ashamed of my predictions for these finals? No, I'm not. Because despite being incorrect in all 3 of these cases, I don't consider my predictions to have been bad. Of course they were wrong, but I don't think they were horrible predictions. And I've explained why for the Dubai one in another video, where I said that Auger-Aliassime had break chances in each of the sets, so even though he lost in straight sets, it was not like he got steamrolled, actually. Tennis is a game of thin margins. So if you take one chance in a set, that can completely change the outcome and the momentum of the entire set. And literally a single point, this is not an exaggeration, can decide which way the set goes. So given that Auger-Aliassime did create those chances, if he had taken 1 or 2 of them, the match could have gone in a completely different direction, despite the score being 6-3, 6-3. That's literally how tennis is. I'm not just making this up to be like, he should have won. No, I'm not saying he should have won. I'm just saying that it was not unreasonable to believe that he could have won, given that he had chances to go up a break in each of the sets. And had he taken those, the match could have been completely different. And this was the case for all 3 of these finals. Mahach defeated Davidovich Fokina in straight sets. The first set was a tiebreak, where Davidovich Fokina had a set point. So obviously that could have gone another way. And then the match, therefore, could have gone another way. In the second set as well, Davidovich Fokina had an early chance to go up a break. Didn't take it, but had he taken it, the match could have gone another way. And it was the same story in Santiago, where Djere won 7-5 in the third. And if you don't think that a 7-5 in the third match can go either way, then you don't know anything about tennis. So I don't consider any of these predictions to have been very bad, and I'm not ashamed that I got all these wrong. I would be more ashamed if these guys just got completely shut out and they didn't even have a chance to get ahead. But they all did. Or it was at least close. In Baez's case, despite it being 7-5 in the third, I don't know if we actually had a chance to get ahead in the match, but that was still a very close match. No one's going to say that 7-5 in the third is not a close match that could have gone either way. So I don't consider these predictions to have been bad, even though they were wrong. But now, moving on, we're in the quarterfinals of the BNP Paribas Open, the first Masters 1000 tournament of the year. So let's start from the top half of the draw and move down. The first quarterfinal from the top half is Talon Griekspoor, who took out the top seed of this tournament and the world number 2, Alexander Zverev, because we all know that Jannik Sinner has been banned until May for failing doping tests. I will not get into whether I think he actually doped or not. I mean, there's not much for me to get into because I don't really know, nor do I care. I'm not really like these virtue signalers who dislike any tennis fan for such and such reason. And sure, you may say, oh, I don't want to support cheater. Okay, I mean, that's fine with me. I don't really have anything against people who say stuff like that. It's just, I just never really cared about any of that stuff. Because, like, I don't know any of these people personally. So, why would I care about whatever they do off the court? I'm just here to be entertained by watching tennis. And yeah, I mean, some people will say, well, I don't want to support a drug cheat. I don't want to support a domestic abuser. And I suppose that makes sense, but I just can't honestly say that I ever really cared about those things much when I'm just trying to watch tennis. Like, I never really cared about, I never felt like anger or something towards another player because of such and such allegations or whatever. I guess I'm just different from other people in that respect. Or I don't really get I don't really have like some reaction to these things, probably due to my lack of emotions. But anyway, Sinner is banned for 3 months, and that is why Zverev was the top seed of this tournament, because it's a big tournament that Sinner would have been playing, because it's supposed to be mandatory in a sense. But Zverev got knocked out in his first match against Talon Griekspoor, who has made his way to the quarterfinals. It was not surprising that he beat Zverev at all, for a couple of reasons. The first is that Zverev has been kind of bad ever since his run to the Australian Open final. He has been losing like half his matches since then, in the first or second round of tournaments. And the second reason is that Griekspoor, it seems like he always plays to the level of his opponent, or he always either wins, takes a set, or at least gets to a tiebreak. He had a tiebreak in every one of his matches, and against Zverev he had 2 tiebreaks, which he won, both of them, in the second and third sets, which obviously allowed him to win the match. So it seems that Griekspoor is kind of just 50-50 against anybody. We have seen him challenge top players multiple times, even though he has usually lost, but he looks like he always is in the match. Usually. There are times when he does not get as close. Like in the Australian Open this year, he lost in straight sets to Hurkacz and didn't get to a tiebreak. He got destroyed by Alcaraz in Beijing last year, even though he played Alcaraz close in other times, despite, I don't know if he ever took a set. But this guy usually seems to play close to the level of his opponent, or in most of his matches, it seems. And now he will face Holger Rune, who took out the very hyped Stefanos Tsitsipas, who people claimed is ready to win a slam because he won the small Dubai tournament. And surprise, surprise, he lost before reaching the quarterfinals in the next tournament against a player that seems to have his number, has now won all 4 of their encounters, and he defeated Tsitsipas in straight sets. Now, people like to bring up winning streaks. They did the exact same thing for Shapovalov when he won Dallas and then won 2 or 3 matches in Acapulco. Oh, this guy is on an 8-match winning streak. He's hot. See, the exact same thing for Tsitsipas. Won Dubai, won 2 matches, 7-match winning streak. He's hot. Please don't talk to me about winning streaks until a guy wins at least 10 in a row. Because it's really not that inconceivable that a player should win a title, which requires that they win at least 4 or 5 matches, and then win 1, 2, 3 matches in the next tournament. I don't get what's so insane about that. Oh, 7 matches in a row. That's not that much. Talk to me when it's like 20, at least 10. Because both times now, they've been hyping these guys up, Shapovalov and Tsitsipas, for winning 7, 8 matches in a row, and then they lose right after that, right after pointing out the streak. So stop pointing out the streak. That's not really that long. Like, it's not even 10 in a row. And of course people are like, oh, you try winning it. That completely goes against the point. Obviously, I'm not going to win a match on the Pro Tour because I'm not a pro tennis player. But that doesn't mean that 7 matches in a row is a very impressive streak to write home about. At least, it doesn't seem that way, given that it just doesn't seem that amazing to me to just win a tournament. Yeah, you won a tournament. Everyone wins tournaments. And then you win, like, a couple matches after that. Hold on, like, let me see. Baez, he won Rio, right? So that was like 5 matches. Baez was on a longer winning streak than Tsitsipas and Shapovalov. Baez was on like what is it? Oh no, it was like the same length. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Baez was on an 8-match winning streak. I didn't hear anyone talk about that for some reason. I guess he was doing the same thing about the 2 titles back to back, which he just came up short against Jera in the final. But for some reason I didn't hear people talk about that winning streak. But I don't know, like, of course it's good. It's a good achievement. But like it just doesn't seem that big of a deal to me that a player should win a tournament and then win 1, 2, or 3 matches in the next one. It's like, okay, what's so amazing about that? But anyway, Tsitsipas is out. He will not win a slam, just to put that out there again, nor will Shapovalov. Shapovalov, of course, just got destroyed against the top favorite, Carlos Alcaraz. It was not really much of a match. It was good shot making, but he didn't pose much of a threat, which, again, lends credence to the idea that he will not win a slam because he doesn't have a chance against these top players, Sinner and Alcaraz. They will cook him, just like they will cook 95% of the tour. So, no, the guy's not going to win a slam because he won a small tournament. Sorry to burst your bubble, you believers, but it ain't happening. Anyway, enough hating. Not really hating, but what people might perceive as hating. I do like both of these players. I like almost all the players. I even liked Lucas Rosol, who a lot of people hated because they said, oh, that guy's so annoying. I don't care. That just doesn't annoy me. Like, he's not interacting with me like, oh, the guy's being such a jerk. I don't know. I just never really cared. It's all just entertainment to me. It's like watching a TV show. I mean, actually, it's funny because in TV shows, I hate the annoying characters more than I hate the so-called annoying tennis players. Like, I just don't really care if they're annoying. Like, Kyrgios would be annoying, and a lot of people hate him, but he's funny. It's pretty entertaining to watch, so I don't feel like any animosity towards him, like a lot of people seem to. Anyway, Greek Sport. This is gonna be a long video. Greek Sport is playing Holger Rune in the first quarterfinal from the very top of the draw. The head-to-head is 2-love for Greek Sport, but both of these meetings were on clay, and they were both quite close, so you can't take much away from that. I will give my slight edge to Holger Rune here, and I will have him winning in 3 sets. But like I said, Greek Sport seems to be 50-50 against anyone, so you never know with this one. But I will give my edge to Rune and have him winning that in 3 sets. So, and then the next quarterfinal, also from the top half of the draw, is the 5th seed Daniil Medvedev, who has found some form. Let's say that he has been finished. He looks to be finished despite being in the quarterfinals of this tournament. Do not be fooled. He will not win it. At least, I don't think so. It's not completely impossible, but I'm not counting on him to win it. He does still seem to be finished, despite the fact that he won 2.5 matches. He hasn't had the toughest tests. Okay, the first round, he played Bu Yunjao Kete, who is a decent opponent, but it's not the biggest test. Then he had an American youngster, Alex Mickelson, who retired after 2 games, so that wasn't much of a test. And then his last match he played was against another American, Tommy Paul, which you would think to be a test, but Paul didn't really look that great. It was a bit of a weird match because, first of all, it was played kind of late because it kept raining for like 3 hours. Medvedev won the first 4 games, and then Paul won the next 4. Medvedev won the next 8 games to take that set 6-4 and then bagel Paul in the second set. Paul just looks kind of bad. He was just missing a lot of shots. That's really the best way to put it. It wasn't like Medvedev was doing anything amazing. In the words of Ernest Gulbis after losing to Nadal in Rome, I believe it was 2010 or 2013 or something. He didn't do nothing special. I did the mistakes, but you have to beat the guy. And that seemed to be pretty much what happened. Medvedev didn't look like he did anything special. Just pushed like he has been known for doing. And Paul did the mistakes, and then he lost the match. So I'm not fooled by this dominant performance. I'm not going to be like, Medvedev is back. No, I don't think so. He's won like 2.5 matches against not the greatest opponents. So, no, I'm not going to say that he's a contender for the title. Especially not with Alcaraz in the draw, who owns him and owns most people. But Medvedev is playing against the 20th seed, the Frenchman ATP, who is my age, actually a few months younger than I am. Yeah, I'm getting pretty old here. So, look, the head-to-head is 1-love for Medvedev. They played 2 years ago in Vienna, and Medvedev won in straight sets. Can't really take much away from that, because Fils has improved since then. Medvedev has probably declined. So can't take much away from that one meeting. Look, I said that Medvedev was completely finished, and I'm not going to go back on what I said. However, there's a difference between being... When I said completely finished, I didn't mean that he would never win any more match again. Obviously. I mean, people don't honestly believe that when someone says this guy is completely finished, they will never win a match again. He will win matches, but it doesn't look like he's going to be winning titles, or at least not many titles, or at least not big titles. So when I said he's completely finished, I'm not going back on that, but that doesn't mean he can not win any match. But I'm not going to pick him to win the title, that's for sure. And I'm probably not going to pick him to win in the semifinals. But given that this is a quarterfinal match, Feast is a young player without much experience. I believe this is his first Masters quarterfinal. He just lost a set against Marcos Giron. I think Medvedev should be able to win this. Like, if he can't win this, then he really can't win any match of like a small amount of significance. This is like being, it's like, come on, you got this kid who isn't the sharpest knife in the place where they keep the knives. It's his first Masters quarterfinal. You just bageled an American guy. This guy just lost a set against the worst American guy. It's like, come on, man. You gotta take this opportunity. You have to win at least this match. If you can't win this match, then you are even more completely finished. You are actually a bigger fraud than I even anticipated. So if Medvedev doesn't win this match, I don't know if I'll ever pick him to win a Masters quarterfinal, Grand Slam quarterfinal, of course, or a semifinal again, until he just proves me wrong by winning one, if that happens. But I feel like this should be winnable, but I'm still not sure. He could flop again, but I'm gonna take a chance and say Medvedev will win this in straight sets. Why not? And if he doesn't win, or if he doesn't put up fight, I should say, if he loses like he did against Medjedovic and he just gets completely destroyed, then I will not pick him for these kinds of matches anymore, I don't think. But if he puts up a decent fight and at least creates the chances to get ahead, then I'll be like, okay, so he can win if he takes his chances. But we'll see what happens. So I'll say Medvedev wins this in straight sets. Why not? You know, why not? Why not? Then we have, now moving to the bottom half of the draw, the last American man standing, Ben Shelton, the 11th seed. And this is a battle of the lefties taking on the 13th seed, the Brit Jack Draper, who has looked pretty good in this tournament. He started off by bageling the kid in the second round and Draper's first match because, of course, all seeds get a bye. Then he followed that win up by defeating the tricky American Brooksby in straight sets again. And then he just defeated Taylor Fritz, the third seed, in straight sets by the exact same score that he defeated Brooksby by. So, yeah, I kind of did think he would beat Fritz, and he did. So, he hasn't dropped a set, so he's looked pretty good. Shelton has looked pretty good as well. He has also not dropped a set in his 3 matches. So, this will be their first meeting. Two relatively young guys. It's looking like a 50-50 match here. I'll give my slight edge to Shelton because of the home crowd boost, perhaps, and say that he wins this in 3 sets. But I feel like this can go either way. it maybe depends on, I don't know, just whoever's better on the day, I guess. Draper's fitness, which has been known to be a problem, shouldn't really mess him up too much because he has won all of his matches in straight sets. What I like about Draper is that he is a pest in the best possible way because he just doesn't go away. He just gets everything back, pounds the ball and stays in the service games, runs down everything, runs down volleys, goes to the net himself to be annoying. And that's good because you should be annoying. That's what games are about. It's about being more annoying to your opponent than he is to you. That's how you win games. So that's good for Draper to be a pest. But Shelton is also kind of annoying. I mean, not really to me, but a lot of people hate on him just because he's an enthusiastic kid. And, it's fair enough because in part that's just due to how he sounds when he celebrates. If he had like a deeper voice, people might hate on him as much, but since he has a kind of high-pitched scream where when he wins a point he's like, yeah, then people kind of get annoyed at that. So I guess that's understandable, but I don't mind it. These things are all just funny to me. This is all just entertainment. So I will have Shelton winning this in 3 sets. But yeah, I feel like this could go either way. Then we have the bottom half of the draw. I mean, the very bottom part of the draw. Which is the 25th seed Argentine Francisco Cerúndolo, taking on the 2nd seed and the 2-time defending champion Carlos Alcaraz, who just destroyed Dimitrov 6-1, 6-1, which was not surprising because Alcaraz is very difficult to beat here. He hasn't lost since 2022 when he was like 18 years old, and he lost against none other than Rafa Nadal, who made it to the final that year and lost to Fritz. So Alcaraz has won this tournament for the past 2 years, and it looks very possible that he could do it again. He has not dropped a set in the 3 matches that he's played. The last time that he dropped a set here was the first set against Yannick Sinner in the semifinals last year. So he is on like a 10-set winning streak here at this tournament, and it's like a 15-match winning streak, something like that. So he's like 3 matches away from winning this title for the 3rd time, and he's definitely the favorite to do so. He has played Cerúndolo once before, last year in Queens, which is a small grass tournament, and Alcaraz won in straight sets. Grass or this tournament specifically might be his best surfaces. Do I think he will win this match? Yes, but let's give Cerúndolo a chance to make things interesting. And I'm going to say that he will take a set from Alcaraz. Why not? I don't think he will win, but maybe he can take a set. Let's just say that he will. The thing about him is that his quality of shots looks, when they go in, especially his forehand, they look very clean. And it's literally just if he misses from the back of the court or not. Because he'll just be rallying, clean looking strokes, then he just makes an unforced error. Randomly for like no reason. If he doesn't, and if he gets into a rhythm, then he looks very good. Because his shots look very clean. But he just randomly makes unforced errors. So if he gets into a rhythm, where he's not making too many errors, then he can be tough to play against because of the quality of his shots and the heaviness of them, you know? But if he doesn't, and it's not easy to get into a rhythm against someone like Alcaraz, then he will most probably lose in straight sets. But to make things interesting, I'll say that he can take a set. But I will have Alcaraz winning this, of course, in 3 sets. And let's say he will lose his first set of the tournament. Why not? Why not? Okay, so to reiterate, I think that Holger Rune will defeat Talon Griekspoor in 3 sets. Daniil Medvedev will defeat Arthur Fils in straight sets. Ben Shelton will defeat Jack Draper in 3 sets. And Carlos Alcaraz will defeat Francisco Cerundolo in 3 sets. So I think we will have semifinals between Holger Rune and Daniil Medvedev and Ben Shelton and Carlos Alcaraz. So, yeah. Congrats to Shelton, I'll say, because this is the second big tournament played this year. The first was Australian Open, of course, and Shelton made the semifinals, and now he's in the quarterfinals again of the next big tournament of the year. So that's good for him to go far in both of those, and now he has a decent chance of making the semis. And once again, the semis, I believe, will be Rune versus Medvedev and Shelton versus Alcaraz. Okay, so we'll see if that happens.